Let's do it.
Are we live?
I think so. It said live.
All right.
I think we're live.
What's up, everyone?
Hey, everybody.
We're live. Never done this before.
No, it's our first time. We've did one YouTube before.
Yes.
Two. Well, no, just one, but never live. What?
Just one.
Just one.
We did two, but I was having trouble getting one up.
Well, we're all new to this. Well, you're all new to this because I don't know how to do any of the tech stuff. It's all Jesse.
So you're new to it too.
Yeah, that's true. I am new to it too, but thank God for you because I would not know what to do.
So what's going on, guys? What do we have to cover anything? Or we?
Well, you know what? I will cover something. It has nothing to do with anything we were talking about. But
have you been
watching? I didn't even think about this person or didn't know about them. Kyle Rittenhouse.
Yeah.
The shooter guy from the protests.
Yeah, it's his trial or he's going through.
Yeah. So I usually at work all day. I'll have, I don't know, I work from home now. And I'm not in the office. And at the office, you have little people talking all the time. You're really roll over to your girl's desk and be like, yo, did you hear the awesome office gossip? But you can't do that anymore. So I have to have something on in the background. So I usually have the news on. So I was like, Kyle Rittenhouse. I was like, who is this guy? And I Googled him and it's quite interesting.
Kenosha.
Yeah, Kenosha, and it to me, and take it or leave it, but it sounds like this guy was going out and he was just trying to play, what is that game? Call of Duty in real life.
Yeah, I don't it's funny. At first I was like, oh my God, this guy's so in the wrong. But then I was watching stuff and I was like a little bit, I still think it was wrong, but I was a little bit towards whatever, but I don't know. It was hard. It's hard to, I didn't really see everything. I don't really know, but there's video in the beginning and someone was running at him or attacking me. He was near some cars and he turned and shot and killed that guy. And I don't know what was happening with that guy. I don't know if that guy was attacking. I don't know. But then he ran down the street and that's the video that you've probably seen where all the people start running. And the other guy did pull a gun. I didn't know that. Did you know that?
Yeah, he had a gun. I heard them talking about that on the news today or at the trial. He had a gun, but he wasn't, I don't think he had it pointed at Kyle.
Right.
I think he had it, he had a gun on him. So many people had guns on them, which was crazy. But he had a gun on him, but he didn't have it drawn.
Right.
Or he was.
I don't even know.
But
the crazy thing is he was 17 and his mom dropped him off
yes, with an AK.
With he was going to a dance party in the basement. You
yes.
know what I mean? All right, have a fun time, Kyle.
It's insane.
Okay, Mom.
Right?
I don't know. There's something.
Something isn't right. Something seems weird with the whole situation. But it was weird too about the trial because I was listening to it in the background a little bit today. Yeah, that's our candy from last week.
Forgot my water.
The judge was, and again, I really wasn't 100% paying attention.
Oh, he said something wasn't allowed.
He did it a couple times to the prosecution where he wasn't allowing things in, and him and the prosecutor kind of got into it a couple times.
Yeah.
And so it was pretty interesting. And I kept getting distracted at work because normally I just have things on in the background. I'm not 100% paying attention, but I had to stop working multiple times to just go over and be like, what is going on in this trial?
Right. And so I think they were saying there's a lot of weight on the ruling. There's going to be a lot of weight on the ruling. So I feel there's pressure on everyone to get it correct.
Yeah.
Well, whatever it is.
Yeah. But why so much weight on this ruling? Because does it go back to the Second Amendment to right to bear arms that this kid was 18 years old and heavily armed?
Yeah. I think so.
It's just crazy. It's crazy. Yeah. But yeah, so that's going on. And then
it's working, guys.
Just testing it out.
Well, I was sitting here. I was like, I got my notes ready to go, but I was like,
Yeah.
let me make sure this thing's working.
There you go.
Yeah. So Kyle Rittenhouse.
Wait, and I have a question, and I have not looked into this. What is anything going on? I know the big Brian laundry guy with Patino, like they found him, but like then that was it.
Yeah.
Nobody said anything else. Like, was he eaten by alligators?
I don't know. I
Was
haven't heard
he?
anything.
Did he commit suicide? Like, I just want to know what happened.
Haven't heard a thing.
I haven't heard a thing too. I'm going to Google this.
Who else recently was something that was in the news, and I was like, they still haven't said how that person was killed.
Gabby Petito?
No, they said she got
strangled. Was it what's the oh my god, the lawyer one?
No. Well, who killed those? Who killed the son?
Murdoch's?
Who killed the son and the mom? I still haven't. Oh, I know what it was.
What was it?
It's the other story. It's the Alec Baldwin thing. I want to know, was he aiming the gun at her during a scene? Did he just pretend to fire a blank at her? It didn't ricochet because it like shot her in the, like, what happened? Did he shoot something and then the bullet hit her square on, or then hit the assistant or the director? Like, I want to know what happened there. They still haven't said what exactly happened, I think, right?
They
or
probably,
I don't know. Did they say what happened? Anybody?
Yeah, let us know, please. They might be holding that back for the trial.
I bet, but I want to know.
Yeah, I know. I want to know too, because that is pretty interesting to think. Like,
was it like some point of view cinematography shot, and he pulled the trigger right at her?
Yeah, and she was standing behind the camera, right?
That's fucking nuts. And then the only other thing would be like, hey, and pretending to fire a blank at someone.
Well, if he's okay, so let's say there's a scene, me and you are having a shootout, and like you're not there yet, but I'm practicing. Could it be that he was just like boom, boom, and then was pointing in any direction?
I don't know. I mean, you usually wouldn't fire without everyone knowing, and you wouldn't normally, but this was like they didn't have all of the budget they needed. But normally, if the camera's not rolling, you don't have the gun, or you don't, or it's not, or whatever. Usually, when I was on the Punisher thing, they gave us rubber guns. Actually, I still had my real one, but I didn't have. We weren't loaded, our little team, but they gave rubber guns. We'd run all the shit. I think, was I saying this the other week?
Yeah, you were saying it last week.
And then as soon as we were getting ready to run, we'd all put the rubber guns down. The armor would come over. We'd all double check, and then we get ready. And then they'd be like, cut. And then we'd all give the guns right back. So it'd be weird for him. He wouldn't just, that would be very fucked up if someone was handed the gun, they were about to film, and he was just popping off.
Yeah.
But yeah, maybe he was going to shoot someone. It was like the over the shoulder shot.
Yeah.
But how come that person?
But weren't they not filming? If they were filming, it would have been on film, wouldn't it? So they couldn't have been filming. It had to have been in between takes.
I don't know.
Can somebody tell us what's happening, please?
And did you see they're all like, and of course, and also I'm not going to sit here and say this person should be blamed or it should be that person, but they're all like starting to shift the
blame on other people.
Yeah.
Yep. Well, yeah, because now somebody's going to be held responsible.
And like, if there's 4 people involved, 2 or 3 of them are probably correct on their their role in it, but someone didn't do something.
Yeah.
Or I guess all of them.
A lot of
together didn't do something.
Yeah, a lot of people not doing the best job to the best of their ability. It sounds like. Also, I just looked this up, and we're going to change gears here for a second. Brian Laundrie's autopsy is inconclusive on his cause of death.
What the fuck is going on?
I know. Just give us something. Tell us he was eaten by an alligator.
Did he take himself out?
It doesn't say. It just says inconclusive.
I feel like he clipped himself only because he was. Wasn't there something with a gun, or did I just make that up?
I don't remember hearing something about a gun, but I would be surprised. I mean,
there's so many crazy stories in the news right now. I mean, there always is, and there's so much gun violence right now.
Tons of gun violence. Yeah, it says his skeletal remains were found, so he was skeletal at the point. I bet you what happened was he probably killed himself, and then there's tons of alligators and wildlife in the swamps. I bet you his remains were partially eaten, And maybe that's why they don't know, because there's not enough of him left for them to be able to figure out what happened. Make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Are you ready?
Yeah. What are you doing for us today, Jess?
This is going to be, this one really hurts. And I remember this one. This is another one I remember very well.
Okay.
I feel like because it was like it was high school again for me.
Mm-hmm.
For some reason, I was already like getting this vibe of true crime. All right. I'm just going to play this first. Ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Police have been shot. I'm 8 months pregnant. Okay, ma'am, you're 8 months pregnant. You've been shot. You're at Wessex Square. Community. Okay, ma'am, I'm going to connect you to medic. Continue to talk to them because, ma'am, we have to help you. We have to find out where you are.
Where's your husband at? Or your boyfriend, the one you said that was with? Where's he at?
In the car in front of me, and he slowed down and somebody pulled up and said, I'm in distance.
And then where'd he go?
He just left me.
All right, what's his name?
Wake up, Lucy. Wake up, Lucy.
Okay, what's his name?
Wake up, Lucy.
Ray Carruth.
I don't remember any of this.
So did you hear what she said?
That Ray Carruth pulled up. Did she say shot her and left?
So I'm gonna go over it. But so this is the story of Cherica Adams. And a little backstory on her. So her mom, I love this. So first of all, her mom is like a saint. Sandra Adams. She liked the name Eureka and was like, I'm gonna name my baby Eureka. But then she was like, yeah, but I think the kids will make fun of her because it's a vacuum vacuum cleaner. And she was like, I always liked the name Cher, or she always liked Cher.
Yeah.
So she just combined Cher and Eureka for Cherica.
Oh, I like that.
And I love that name, Cherica. So Cherica is, you should pull up a picture of her. She's this beautiful woman. And I'm going to go over a couple things here. She was from North Carolina. So first, what I want to do is give you a little bit of a backstory on her boyfriend at the time of her murder. So if you didn't hear that 911 call, or if you couldn't understand it, she called after she had been shot a couple times, and she had said that a car pulled up beside her and shot her a couple times. And then the 911 dispatcher, the guy said, where's your husband? She said, I don't have one. He said, well, where's your boyfriend? He was in front of me and he stopped and then he just left.
Oh.
And then they said, who was it? And she said, my boyfriend's Ray Carruth. He plays for the Carolina Panthers. And the 911 dispatcher said, who? She said, Ray Carruth, number 89.
Oh, okay.
Other than me, there wasn't anything that she made another phone call.
Yeah.
I don't know if she said anything else, but so like her last words were saying that, which like,
oh, so before the paramedics got there, she was pronounced dead.
She wasn't pronounced dead. She was put on life support.
Yeah.
But she fell into a coma.
Ugh.
She was pregnant at the time. I don't know. She said, I'm 8 months pregnant.
Yeah, 8 months.
So that's what they had, at that time.
Yeah.
So a little bit about Ray Carruth. He was drafted by the Carolina Panthers. He was drafted in 1997, and he was a wide receiver. He was actually a really good wide receiver. Really good rookie. He was first team All-American with the Colorado Buffaloes. He was gaining a reputation for his speed. He had 44 catches and 545 yards and 4 touchdowns in his rookie season. So Carruth earned a place on the NFL's all-rookie team in 1997. So I'm just explaining. I'm basically just trying to build up the fact that this dude was like a good football player. Like he
Yeah.
was like a good dude. And one of the players they interviewed was like he had like star potential. Like when we saw, like I knew he was going to be good.
Yeah.
He in 1998, the following season, he broke his foot in the very first game, so he didn't play anything in 1998. And then in 1999, he only played in a couple games because this incident happened in December,
Okay.
and he was
Which is mid-season.
yeah, and so he didn't play any games after that. So you can guess.
Yeah.
I mean, like you can guess that he was because you can guess the reason why.
Yes.
Because he was involved in this. It says it says he has 14 catches for 200 yards. Who cares? In the 1999 season. So let's backtrack a little bit. So Ray Carruth meets Cherica Adams. During a pool party in the June of 1998, Carruth met Cherica Adams, a Charlotte area woman working in real estate, as well as a exotic dancer. They would see each other in intervals throughout the summer of 1998. Both were in relationships with other people, and they kind of fell out of touch until that November when Carruth attended a birthday party for a teammate being held at the strip club that she had worked at. So Carruth said later that because it was coming out that it was her boyfriend, and maybe he was, I don't know, but Carruth had said that they just met up to have sex.
Oh, okay.
And that they both were cool with that.
Yep, they were in other relationships.
And then
they
even
were
when they were
just
out, yeah,
banging.
they were just having sex. And so he said like 5 or 6 times.
Okay.
The quote is, "Lust was the tie that bound us, not like or love, and neither one of us was ever guilty of believing anything contrary to this.
Okay.
We randomly hooked up a handful of times and never made it about anything more than that." He estimated that he had consensual sex with Cherica about 5 times, and then she became pregnant with his child. They had never dated, hung out at each other's homes, or talked over the phone for an extended period of time, nor was Adams ever a guest at any of the Panthers games.
Okay.
He said, aside from the nights that we hooked up, we spent 0 time together. The reason I'm bringing this up, or it's important, is to just understand their relationship. Because from his point of view, it makes it a heavier situation. Like it's not a good thing, but like I guess he didn't love this person.
Yeah.
Which is a shame.
Uh-huh.
And she became pregnant, and he thought that wasn't a good thing. And it wasn't his girlfriend or his wife.
Yeah.
Now, like whatever, but he was, he fathered a child from his high school sweetheart in Sacramento, and he was already paying child support.
Okay.
And he was quoted as saying, "I don't want another kid because then I have to pay $5,000 a month." He said something about $5,000 a month.
So like 25. That's so crazy. Like, man the fuck up. Like, you had sex. Like, it happened. You could have worn a condom. But continue. I'm sorry.
Right, exactly. Or just man up.
Man up. Man the fuck up. Or if you don't want to have another kid, he could have gotten a vasectomy. Well, easy peasy right there, man. Don't put it on the girl. Put it on the dude.
Cherica said to her mom, Sandra, by the way, I already said it, but her mom, Sandra, is like a saint. And you'll see later on too, but she is like, if you hear this woman talk, she's like the nicest woman. She's like, what, when like tragedy happens, there's 2 types of people, or 3 or whatever, but like the one who's really sad and can't get over it, and somewhere in the middle. And then there's the person that is like just moving forward. And she was quoted as saying like, you can't, like, basically, I forget the exact quote, but it was like, you can't you can't be sad about the things you don't have. You have to be happy for the things that you do. That's what it was.
Yep.
And she was specifically referring to Cherica's child, because as you'll see, I'm going to go through the story, obviously, but Cherica passed away, but she was able to have the child.
I thought I saw this in the pictures because I was wondering if that was her son.
Yeah,
okay.
Chancellor.
Yeah. Got it.
So Carruth, so apparently Carruth had asked Adams if she could or would abort the child. However, she refused. For what it's worth, Carruth does dispute that he requested Adams to abort the child. So I don't know if that happened or not. But anyway, she had apparently said, like, I'm having the baby. If you don't want to be a part of it, that's fine. I have enough support.
Yeah.
So this in turn led to Carruth seeking or resorting to more extreme methods to get rid of the baby.
Okay.
So first of all right, I'll get there in a second. So Ray Carruth meets Van Brett Watkins.
Okay.
In 1999.
Guy or girl? Van?
A guy.
A guy. Okay.
A very scary guy.
Oh, really? I mean, the name Van, I've only known a
can't wait
couple
to-
Vans, and
I
they've
can't
all
wait to
been.
tell you what he says to the lawyer in court. And I can't wait to tell you who the lawyer is.
Okay. What year was this?
This is 1999. You're not going to guess. You're not going to guess. You could guess the lawyer because he was famously in a show.
Oh, he was in a show. I didn't know if he was a famous lawyer from another huge profile trial.
No, but the show's about that.
A big profile case.
Well, it's big because Netflix made it big.
Recently,
Mhm.
within the last 2 years or 3 years,
Mhm.
is it the O.J. Simpson trial?
Mhm.
Is it? Wait, Netflix made it big. The trial or the case?
The story of the person or the case, yeah.
Was it the big one that happened in New York City in the Central Park?
Mm-mm. It's something that happened. It happened, and the guy was being tried for murder, and they.
Oh my God! I never saw it. To Catch a Murderer.
No. And they went into his past, and they realized a similar crime had happened. Someone else passed away similarly.
Oh, the
Duh.
staircase.
Yeah.
That's such a good TV show.
It?
Yes, or wait. Hold on. Can we talk about this now, or should I wait and ask you afterwards?
What?
I'm gonna go off on a tangent for a second.
About the
staircase.
About
do you think he did it or he didn't do it?
I don't know.
Cold right off the bat.
I kind of forget all of the facts again, but it was what the fuck was the first wife that fell down the staircase, and then he took the kids from the other, and then the other person died too. The guy.
Wait, what guy?
Remember when they lived in Germany or whatever the fuck?
Yeah.
His wife fell down the steps and died.
Yes, I know that.
Right? And then shortly after that, his best friend that lived next door, and his wife, the best friend died.
Oh, I don't remember that part.
And then he like adopted those kids, and him and that woman like raised those kids. I don't know if he was like with her, but it was something weird like there.
Interesting. When I first watched it, my first initial gut reaction in the beginning was this guy totally did it.
Yeah.
As I continued to watch it, by the end, I was crying and I was like, this poor guy did not do this.
I felt like at the end when they explained everything, I was like, I don't know.
Yeah. And I remember sitting.
That's the whole point of the show.
That's the whole point. Well, and it was his side of the story.
Yeah.
So like they were painting it. I mean, they didn't hire that crew to just investigate that. The crew was there for something else, but it turned into this documentary. But then afterwards, I watched something about it where I was like, this guy totally did it.
Yeah, I think because it was a show. They wanted us to watch it. I forget if it was for the guy or against the guy, but the way the blood splatter was, I forget what it was, but I was like,
well, they've recreated the blood spatter guy. He effed up that whole case
that whole thing up.
Because he kept redoing the blood spatter until it told the story which he wanted it to tell.
Yeah, exactly.
So, and he ruined that whole case because if it wasn't for him doing that, the guy probably would be in jail for killing his wife. But now he's out, and that whole. What about the owl theory? The owl theory was so ridiculous that an
I kind of
owl.
believed it at one point.
I think I kind of believed it at one point.
Wait, so do you remember the lawyer? David Rudolph.
I don't remember the lawyer per se. So he was this guy's lawyer, or this
He's Ray Carruth's lawyer.
what's this guy's name again? I'm sorry.
David Rudolph.
David Rudolph.
Pull him up, and then we're jumping ahead, like we always do.
We always
We're way
do.
over here. You know when there's like a tree and then
he does look familiar.
and then branches. You know, you branch off. We go onto that branch, and then we leap onto another tree, and then fall onto another tree over there.
Wait, but that's why our show should be called AKA Coke Stories. Remember? Remember? we made
AKA
that
people don't come here for the facts.
up. People don't come here for the facts. Possibly the laughs. Sorry, I totally lost your spot.
No, I'm good. So, all right. So David Rudolph, guys, because I'm gonna talk about Van Brett Watkins, but if you haven't seen this documentary, just look it up because there's a really scary part with him with David Rudolph, and David Rudolph is then like over voicing it. He was like, I was looking into his eyes. This guy was like, he was a killer. Like I was scared.
Whoa. About Van?
Yeah. So.
Okay.
So Carruth became acquainted with Van Brett Watkins, who was actually a security guard at a strip club, Charlotte strip club. It's not clear on what odd jobs he was doing for Carruth, but he was doing like odd jobs for him, it said.
Okay.
He's from New York. Watkins was a hardened criminal. He had served time in prison for various crimes and has stated that he had killed 4 people prior to meeting Carruth, all hired hits.
That's crazy. And he had done time in jail for these hired hits, or
no, for other things.
I never get that. Like how it's speculated hits. Is that why he wasn't in jail?
Well, he said that.
Or in
he said later that before he met Carruth,
okay,
I killed 4 people and they were all hired hits. So he said it.
Got it. Okay.
So after about 3 weeks of being acquainted, what do you think Carruth asked Watkins? What question do you think he posed to him?
The question probably was, how much money is it to kill somebody?
Close. He said, so listen to this, because this steers it another way. And it's like, well,
okay,
this fucking guy. So, and this wouldn't have been good. And I don't know, but obviously it wouldn't have been good. He wanted Watkins to beat up Adams and make her have an abortion, and ask how much would it cost for him to do that?
To beat her up, to force her to have the abortion,
no,
or to beat her so bad that she the baby, she lost the baby.
So she lost the baby.
Okay. That's fucked.
Correct.
Yeah.
So what do you think Watkins said?
Yeah, how much money?
I don't beat up a girl, I kill people.
Ah, God. So, okay.
So then Carruth further pressed. The two agreed to a deal. Half up front, half after the deed was done. How much do you think was up front? How much do you think total, or how much do you think was, 50-50? What do you think?
In cases like this, you would think it was going to be a lot of money, but most times it's not a ton of money. So I'm going to say, and I'm highballing this because it's probably going to be lower than this. I bet you it's a grand total of $10,000, $5,000 right then, $5,000 after the job's done.
So you are correct. You went a little higher than what it was.
Really? Was it 6,000?
Yeah.
It was 6,000?
Yeah.
How? It's just insane. The 3 last cases we did. No.
Yo, honestly, so now, all right, maybe he's a killer, whatever the fuck, and so he likes it. I have no clue, but to take someone's life and to get caught, you're in jail for life for $6,000. I'm just saying the risk reward to make $6,000, or you could sell coke and make more money, and if you got caught, wouldn't do as much time.
Yeah,
Coke stories.
It's It's just
You could do
mind-boggling to me.
anything. You could just work for a month.
You could work for a month and you'd
always-
have.
I always just bring it back to working for. You could work for 3 weeks and then you'd be good.
Yeah.
Doesn't everyone make $2,000 a week?
But it makes your brain hurt because
It's
Jason
such a shame.
Sweeney's was $600.
500.
500. Wasn't there another one recently that was a small amount of money? What the heck was that one? And then this is 6,000. There's 3 that we did. I forget what the other one was.
That's nothing.
It's nothing. $6,000 for 2 lives. No. I'm so sorry. I'm sorry. Her son lived. Okay. But
he's mentally disabled, but yeah. So 3,000 up front, 3,000 after the deed was done. Although he was hesitant over the hit, because Watkins stated that he did not like the idea of harming or killing a woman, he nevertheless pressed on. So here's the conspiracy. As Watkins began to stalk Cherica, which is so fucked up. This is so fucked up.
yeah.
In the months leading up to the murder or whatever, Carruth began to suggest certain ideas. Several of which Watkins was like, no, those are stupid or whatever. One of the ideas proposed was that Adams be killed while Carruth was in Spartanburg, South Carolina, which is where the Panthers do their training camp.
Okay.
Which would give Carruth a perfect alibi.
Okay.
But nothing materialized. But I do want to say, because I read this and I was like, but it doesn't give you a perfect alibi. It gives you an alibi. But because she was pregnant, there's the cops aren't dumb.
Yeah. What podcast is it from? The husband always did it.
Yeah. Well, right away,
always the husband.
They'd be like, where's the boyfriend or who's the father?
Yep.
Oh, he was all the way over there. Oh, they're not going to be like, oh, okay. They were going to be like, I wonder if they set it up that way.
Yep.
It's people are dumb.
Mm-hmm.
The cops know what's up, or detectives, I should say. So nothing materialized with that until November 1999. Adams was 8 months pregnant and Carruth was growing more and more impatient. According to court testimony, everything came together rather fast. So that's why it was, I guess, sloppy in a way.
Mm-hmm.
Because the idea of the car thing, and I'll explain it to you, is scary to think about for her. But she was able to. They didn't do what they were trying to do, so she was able to make a phone call. So it's like, you guys, why'd you do all, you know what I mean? You killed her, you ruined the kid's life, and it was sloppy. It was like a sloppy job.
Mm-hmm.
Thank God, because she was able to call and basically get him convicted. And as we find out later, the main reason, they had evidence, but you know how the courts are, her voicemail basically condemned, basically got them all locked up. Without that, they wouldn't have gotten as much time.
Yep.
And he actually doesn't get as much time, Ray.
Really? They never do. They never. That's why Murder Inc. Incorporated. What's the name of our business? Public Murder Inc.
Public Murder Inc.
For those who don't know, listen to our last episode or watch our last YouTube and you'll figure it out what it is.
The victim's family get to decide how the fate of the, of the suspect.
Yes. Murder hornets.
I guess not of
ants.
of the charge. But Cherica's mom would never do anything. She's the nicest woman.
Yeah.
All right. So Carruth had arranged to take Adams on a date to see a movie in South Charlotte and invited both Watkins and Michael Kennedy, a local drug dealer that Carruth had met at a car accessory shop, to his house prior to the date. Kennedy was accompanied by his best friend, Stanley Abram, who was also involved in drug dealing. In conversation with Kennedy, Carruth asked for a hoopty.
A hoopty?
A car that didn't look suspicious, or it was just beat up piece of shit.
I know what hoopties are. I used to work at a used car dealership for quite some
Did you?
time.
You sold hoopties?
Sold all those hoopties.
What kind of hoopty do you think this was?
Chevy Impala.
It was an older Nissan Maxima.
Ah, that was gonna be my second guess.
Watkins did not bring a gun, but Kennedy stated that he had a friend who could sell one to him. So after acquiring a .38 revolver, Kennedy drove both Watkins and Abraham around for several hours while Carruth and Adams went on their date, which ended just before midnight. I just want to point out something. I think they went out. I think this was their second actual date.
Really?
Or, so the mom said second date.
Mhm.
This all said first date. So over that whole span of like whatever,
Mhm.
they had never like went out on a proper, and then he brings her out on a date, whether it's the first one or the first one in a year or the
Mhm.
second one in a year. And then this is what happened. So according to court testimony, Carruth told Adams that he wanted to spend the night at her house, and they began driving there in separate vehicles. Carruth in front and Adams behind, with Kennedy trailing Adams.
Mm.
So Carruth, Cherica, and the car full of guys.
Yep.
It's really weird too because this is a drive-by. There's 3 people in the back car. So one person's driving, one guy's in the back, and then some guy's just chilling in the passenger seat. Just in basically like putting himself on the scene of crime for no reason.
Mm.
Like he has no purpose on being there. Not
Right?
doing anything.
No.
Hey, can I come, guys?
All right. I just want to be
It's not like
there.
if they're a gang and they're like going around looking for some of their ops or something, which still isn't good. But I'm just saying, like, they're not.
Mm-hmm.
He had no business being there. What an idiot. So the murder. So as the 3 cars traveled along, I think it's Rhea Road in Charlotte, they came to a section where the road dipped just prior to McAndrew Drive. It was there that the deed was carried out. As Carruth stopped his car in front of Adams, Kennedy pulled alongside Adams, boxing her in. So there was a car here, Cherica, and then the other car pulled up to the side. But the way they also pulled up, kind of like she couldn't just go straight.
She was driving her own car, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Ray was driving his own car, Cherica was driving his own car, and then 3 guys were behind her.
Yeah.
They pull up. He just stopped.
Yep.
Out of nowhere.
Yep.
They pull up to the side, and out of the back window, well, here, they box her in. At that point, Watkins opened fire, shooting Adams a total of 4 times. As Carruth drove away, Watkins had an opportunity to exit Kennedy's vehicle to make sure that Adams was dead, but Kennedy wanted to flee out of there as soon as Watkins was finished. So they kind of like rushed out of there. For a moment, Watkins entertained the idea of killing both Kennedy and Abraham as not to leave any witnesses.
Wait, who's Abraham again?
Just Michael Kennedy's friend.
Oh. Huh. He wanted to kill both of
Michael
them.
Kennedy was a drug dealer.
Okay.
And Carruth knew him.
Uh-huh.
And said, yo, can you get me a car?
Yeah.
So he brought the car over and he brought his other friend that's a drug dealer, Stanley Abram.
Got it.
Stanley Abram was in the passenger seat.
Uh-huh.
Michael Kennedy was driving.
Yep.
And Watkins was in the back.
So he's gonna, okay, I get it now.
So they pulled up. Watkins fired the shots.
Mm-hmm.
He wanted to get out to go make sure.
Yeah.
He didn't because they were in a rush.
Yep.
Then Watkins was in the back seat. Like, I should just shoot both of these guys.
Yep.
They're not his friends.
Mm.
And they're the only people that could. I mean, Ray could too. Or Cherica could, which is what happened.
Is what happened. Yep. Wow.
So listen, so he wanted to kill these 2. Guess the reason why.
For no good reason. There's never a good reason.
He had already disposed of the rest of his bullets.
Oh, that's why he couldn't.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Which rendered eliminating the 2 too difficult to be practical.
So, oh my God. So this guy's just an idiot.
So because he shot however many times and then didn't have the other bullets,
Uh-huh.
is the only reason those 2 didn't get killed.
Wow. And he wasn't even getting paid to kill
So
them.
he says, right.
He's just going to kill them to no witnesses.
Mhm.
That's insane.
Adams, however, was still alive, bleeding profusely. Adams was able to use her cell phone, which had been given to her as a gift by
I don't know.
Ray Carruth.
Oh.
She dialed 911. 911. Baker, do you need police, fire, or medic? This is what we heard. Adams said, police, I've been shot. I've been shot. Adams informed the operator that she was at Wessex Square, had been shot while driving, and was 8 months pregnant. I'm just going over what we heard at the beginning. Driving her car to the driveway of a nearby home, Adams then directly implicated Carruth in telling the operators that she had been shot in the back and neck. Medic, okay, how did this happen? Adams, I was following my baby's daddy, Ray Carruth, the football player. Medic, so you think he did it? He was in the car in front of me and he slowed down and somebody pulled up beside me and did this. And then where'd he go? He just left. I think he did it. I don't know what to think.
Jesus.
So
And
we
that's
only
your
heard
final
A
thoughts.
portion of it, yeah.
That poor girl.
Sounding her horn in distress, Adams ended up in the front yard of a man named Pharrell Blaylock, who had been studying his Bible when the incident occurred. Anyway, emergency services responded to Adams in about 12 minutes.
That's a really long time.
I know.
12 minutes?
I mean, I don't know this area that well. I don't know where the hospital is, but yeah.
In an emergency situation, I feel like 12 minutes. I'm not faulting EMS at all because I'm sure they have a very difficult job. But like, I just remember like being in a car accident and then it felt like 25 minutes, but it was like 5 minutes. And then like the cops came and you're like, oh my God, are they ever going to come? So like, I can't even imagine.
I was watching some, I got stuck on this like drill music stuff in like Chicago and just all the shit that goes down with that. But then I don't know where this happened. I think it was in New Jersey, but there was a rapper, Young Baby.
Mm-hmm.
Guess how many times this dude got shot and lived? And
Well, wait, hold on.
she's
How
going
many
to
times
be way off.
How many times did 50 Cent get shot? Wasn't
9.
that 9? Okay, so this guy's got to be more than 9. He's got to be like, I'm going to guess 25.
35.
35 times? You have to reload your clips.
Someone stood over him and shot him and he still lived.
Where was he getting shot at? Just in his like central body mass?
He got shot like 5 times here, 2 times here.
In his face?
5 times in the back, 16 times in the legs.
Can he walk?
Yeah, he was like fine. Well, I don't know. He was sitting down telling the story. But what I was going to say was he got shot 35 times.
Uh-huh.
Think of how much blood.
That's so much blood.
It took them, I think he said over 15 minutes for someone to come. I'm like, how did you not bleed out?
That is
You
crazy.
know, if you get shot in your stomach, you got like 5-10 minutes.
I thought shot in your stomach though is not that quick because
Well, it depends where.
I'm basing this off of a movie, and the movie is called Pineapple Express. And he's like, I got shot in the stomach. I'm gonna die probably.
Wait, is it Kenny?
The Kenny Powers guy, whatever his name is.
Wait, do you know in that movie he was supposed to die?
Yes,
but
they just did it.
Yeah, but they liked him. They just didn't want to do it at the time. They were like, well, how can we just have him live? When they go back to his house,
yeah,
and his house is all wrecked,
yeah,
and he's like, I'm pretty sure I'm gonna die soon. He was supposed to be dead, and they were like, let's just keep him in the rest of the movie somehow. Yes. And then at the very end, remember he just like doesn't go in with them or something.
Yeah,
because they didn't have that.
Didn't have the ending.
Yeah, they didn't have that scripted with him, so they were just like, we'll just leave him. He just doesn't go in or something. I forget what
That's the best part of that whole damn movie. Get back here, Mr. Wiggles. So good.
So 12 minutes, which is a hell of a long time. So
it's such a long time. I just can't even fathom that. Okay, go ahead.
Adams. So this is the aftermath. Adams was transported to Carolina's Medical Center where her baby was delivered via emergency C-section.
Poor baby.
At 1:42, approximately 80 minutes after she was shot. The initial prognosis for both had been that Adams would probably survive the shooting, but her baby would likely die. As police began the investigation led by the Charlotte Mecklenburg Police Department, homicide detective Daryl Price and Sergeant Tom Athey, Adams regained consciousness approximately 7 hours after giving birth and began scribbling notes in order to communicate to questions about what had transpired.
So she did initially live?
For a little while.
Wow.
He was driving in front of me and stopped in the road, she wrote, and a car pulled up beside me and he blocked the front and never came back.
Oh.
I know.
You know what? She's fucking justified though, because she lived long enough to know that her son survived.
She's amazing. She got them caught and she gave birth to the kid.
Yeah. Scribbling notes.
When they asked her if Carruth was involved, she just put a question mark.
A poor girl.
After a period of questioning, she went back to sleep and she never regained consciousness.
Yeah.
She was put on life support and her mom said her mom was like, I had no problem taking her off life support because she was gone at that point. And then she said when I took her off, she said she looked exactly like she did when she was born. And when she says it in the documentary, she needs like a second. You can tell like it was kind of like a special moment for her. Unfortunately, her daughter had passed away.
Yeah.
Also, Cherica, Cherica by her friends was described as like this very smart, bubbly person that like didn't know how pretty she actually was.
Yep.
After police tracked down Kennedy and gained intel from him, they were able to track down and arrest Watkins. From there, they placed Carruth under arrest on Thanksgiving Day. So interesting enough, when all this went down and they went to the hospital and the birth, they named the baby Chancellor. He was born with like he basically wasn't breathing for a period of time.
Yeah. So
then when when he came out of the womb, I think they had to do CPR immediately. So they knew that something was up. But so like all this was going on, the mom Sandra was like, I gotta call Ray. Like he probably doesn't know what happened, and she just randomly got shot somehow. So she said I called him and I was hitting his beeper and I kept calling him beeper, and then after a little while he came in with an entourage of people. He came in with the fucking two people.
Are you kidding?
He came in with an entourage. I know he came in with Kennedy. I don't know if Abraham was there, the other guy but he came in with Kennedy. And maybe the guy that was also with them watching a movie. There was another person that wasn't involved. I don't know. And then also another female, a girlfriend.
That's insane. Like the balls, the audacity.
So an hour and a half later, she gave birth to the kid. And like, so a couple hours after Ray Carruth did this murder for hire, he showed up to the hospital with the people that helped kill her, including himself and a girlfriend.
Ugh, what a piece of trash.
So he, Sandra walked up to him immediately and was like, knew right away. She was like, I know you had something to do with this. You killed her. And then she still had enough decency to be like, do you want to, they went to the NICU and she was like, do you want to touch him? Because you could put your finger in like the, and he was like, no, I just wanted to see him because I think I'm going to be going away for a long time.
Oh my God.
I'm like, dude, you just created so much havoc.
He could have just supported the fucking baby and her.
Yeah. So then he leaves the hospital and then what does he do? He calls up Wendy Cole.
Who's that? An
old girlfriend or friend or something.
Yeah.
And they go on the run. They flee to Tennessee.
He went on the run.
Yeah, after already saying like basically
I did it.
Sandra that I did it.
Yeah.
And also Cherica already was like, he didn't pull the trigger, but he didn't fucking help. And he did help.
He did it.
He did help. He actually stopped the car and blocked her in. So he goes on the run. So the FBI catches up with where they think he is at this motel or hotel or something, and they say to Wendy, like, where is he? And she says he's not here. And the FBI agent was like, Wendy, like, where the fuck is he?
Yeah.
And she apparently looked down at the table,
Mm.
and the FBI agent said he didn't catch it at first. And then she did it again, and he realized she was looking at the keys.
Oh.
So he went out to the garage and said, Ray, it's FBI, to their car. We're gonna, are you, and he was like, okay. So he was he was curled up. He was curled up in the trunk.
Oh my God. What
a fucking pussy.
Yeah. Great way to
all
put
the
it.
way through and through with every decision he made.
Jesus Christ. What a pussy.
So then he came out. They said something like, they gave him commands like, hey, we're gonna pop the trunk, and as soon as you can, there's a little bit of room, you put your hands out immediately. And the guy said he did it immediately. So Cherica Adams passed away on December 14th, 1999 at 12:43 p.m. She died at the age of 24 after spending nearly a month in a coma. So she was in a coma for a whole month. And nothing was obviously progressing.
Yeah.
Carruth faced first-degree murder charges. He was captured. And so let's see. So, Carruth was obviously suspended indefinitely by the NFL.
Yeah.
The team had cut him following Adams' death and a Carruth's attempted flee.
Yeah.
So as soon as she was pronounced dead, or I'm sorry, shot, and then he fled or whatever.
Yeah.
They were just I don't know. We don't know what's going on. Fuck you.
Yeah.
So here's the trial. So
he played for the Panthers,
Carolina Panthers.
I'll wait until then. Go ahead.
So in the beginning of 2000, one of the most high-profile criminal cases in the history of Charlotte, North Carolina, as well as the history of the NFL, although the league was not far removed from the infamous O.J. Simpson trial. Carruth's circumstances were much different, given he had been an active player at the time of the murder.
Okay.
So it kind of rocked the NFL world a little bit more. Carruth's defense attorney, David Rudolph, was pitted against Gentry Caudill. So Caudill's being on the case was significant because as the 8 men that he prosecuted prior had been sentenced to death for their crimes. So he was a hard nosed dude and got people sent to death.
Yep.
Because in North Carolina, that's a thing. It's
my cats.
So if found guilty on first-degree murder, Carruth could have ended up being the 9th person that this guy had sentenced to death.
Wow.
But what do you know about David Rudolph?
Defense lawyer? I don't know.
Well, he got that guy off.
Yeah, he got staircase guy off.
Yeah.
So he got Carruth off?
He's a good defense attorney.
He
didn't get him off. Rudolph's defense of Carruth centered around Rudolph convincing the jury that Carruth had not premeditated the murder.
He paid the man $3,000.
But he got the jury to believe this.
That is fucking insane.
He got caught up in a drug deal with Watkins that had gone wrong.
That's what the money was, a drug deal?
That's what he's saying. Rudolph's defense hadn't been pulled out of thin air, as he wrote out a quote that Watkins had supposedly told a jailer, "If he had just given us the money, none of this would have happened. It was Ray's fault." The theory of the defense revolved around the idea that Carruth and Watkins had a falling out over Carruth's backing out of a drug deal that he was supposed to finance. The idea, however, did not hold up after Kennedy testified, claiming Carruth had commissioned Watkins for the hit and that he had threatened to kill Kennedy if he did not assist for the plot. So Carruth told Kennedy said, "What's this car for?" And he said, "I got to get rid of Cherica." And he was like, I don't want to be a part of this. And he was like, because I don't want to get in any trouble. And he's like, well, you could still get into trouble because you know too much. And basically threatened him. Carruth threatened him. Sorry. A bunch of Panthers testified on Carruth's behalf because prior to this, he was just kind of like a playboy. He wasn't like it's not like there was incidents where he was like snorting coke and like breaking things or getting into fistfights. This whole idea of him like going through this like kind of came out of thin air.
Yeah.
The most compelling testimony came from Watkins, who maintained over the course of 2 days that Carruth had hired him to kill Adams. So at this point, Watkins was fucking pissed at Ray Carruth for getting him caught up in this. So he kept saying he hired me to do it because they knew Watkins did it. So Watkins was like, I'm not going to be the only one getting in trouble. So Carruth never took the stand, but Watkins kept saying like, no, he hired me. So at one point, that dude Watkins is on the stand.
Yeah.
And David Rudolph's asking him something about like, have you killed before? And he's like, yeah. Or he said he's a killer or something.
Yeah.
And David Rudolph says something like, oh, do you use a gun to kill? And he's like Watkins' answer is like off the topic. Like he's not answering the question, but he's like pissed. You can tell he's getting pissed at all the questions by David Rudolph. He's just looking at him. He's like, I don't need a fucking gun. I could kill you with my bare hands. And he just says it like that. I could kill you with my bare hands. And then David Rudolph asks something else. He's like, I could kill you with, he's like, it's almost like he's starting him. He's like, no, I could kill you with my bare hands.
Oh my God.
And he's talking like that at David Rudolph to the point where you can see he's getting like intimidated. And he's like, all right, no further questions. He's like fucking scared. Yeah. So the trial or the verdict, I'm sorry, January 19th, 2001 came to a conclusion. Carruth was found guilty of discharging a firearm into occupied property, of conspiring to commit murder, and using an instrument with intent to destroy an unborn child, but not guilty of first-degree murder. For the jurors in the case, the chief issue at hand was the fact that Watkins, the assassin that had killed Adams, had taken a plea deal for second-degree murder. So because Watkins said he killed her, the jury felt like Ray had a big part in this, but it wasn't first-degree murder.
Yeah.
Only because David Rudolph said that it wasn't like so much planned, and the jury believed some of that.
Yep.
And then also keep in mind, when you're in the jurors' room, they all have to agree.
Yeah.
So some of them could have been like, no, fuck this dude.
Yeah.
And some of them could have not. And I think what I heard was like a couple of them didn't want to do first-degree murder.
Yep.
It was like one or two.
Yep.
So they didn't. So he wasn't charged with first degree because he didn't actually shoot her. He was sentenced to 18 years and 11 months. He was credited for the 13 months. And he was released in 2018, Ray Carruth.
How many years ago? 18?
It was basically 20.
20.
Like 20.
But he got out early.
Yeah.
Is he
and his son Chancellor is like doing great. He can speak, but he's mentally disabled. He's 20 years old, and apparently he reached out to see his son.
That's what I was going to ask, because I'm looking at these pictures, and there's pictures of his son with his dad's Panthers uniform on at a Panthers game.
Yeah.
So the son reached out, or Ray Carruth reached out to the
Ray
son?
reached out to Sandra, Cherica's mother.
Wow. And I guess Chancellor decided he wanted a relationship with Ray.
He can't make those decisions. He's way, yeah.
Man.
He has a problem walking. He can answer questions. Like they're like, what do you call your mom? And he's like, Angel. And it's like mommy Angel. But like he doesn't know what's going on.
That's so
he knows what's going on, but he's disabled.
Yes. He needs full-time care.
Exactly. So Carruth got like 20 years. Kennedy, the driver, got 11. But he was released in 2011, so maybe that's 11.
Yeah.
Abraham, who decided to just sit in the passenger seat, got 2 years. Fucking idiot.
Right.
And
Jesus.
Watkins is not to be released until 2046.
Thank God.
So
Fuck
that's
that
40,
guy.
46 years.
Yep.
So, that's pretty much it. I mean, I have in prison, Carruth became a licensed barber.
What else is there to do in prison?
Adams raised Chancellor Lee Adams. He suffered permanent brain damage due to the lack of blood and oxygen. Cherica is buried at Sunset Memory Gardens in Mint Hill, North Carolina. Yeah, it's a crazy story because also the whole fucking, like, thank God it shook out the way that it did. Obviously, it would have been better if Cherica survived and the baby, but she was able to get them caught. But the thing that it like sticks with me is he didn't want to have the baby. The baby lived. Cherica died, and he went to jail for 20 years.
Yep.
So he wanted to just play football and bang girls and not pay this extra $5,000 a month. And instead he went to jail for 20 years.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't want to have the baby. The baby lived.
Mm-hmm.
And poor Cherica is caught in the middle. Fucking bullshit.
It's insane. Like, it's just a lack of common sense. Like,
Yeah.
what a dumbass.
Yeah.
Like, what a dumbass.
And it didn't say anywhere in here, and maybe she did want it, but she said, like, I have enough support. Like,
you said
we'll
that in the
figure it out.
beginning.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want anything to do with you. Like, it's fine. I'm going to take care of my baby on my own. And he probably didn't believe that and was like, well, let me just, I don't even know. I can't speculate on behalf of him, but it's so fucking dumb.
And condoms cost $1 a condom.
Condoms are so cheap. Also, yes, wear a condom. Or if you just want to bang girls and not have babies anymore, get a vasectomy. No problems. No more babies.
Yeah. So that's the story of Cherica. Senseless murder.
Yeah,
Isn't that irritating?
It is very irritating. Very irritating. And it's a shame too, because poor Cherica's mother, or Chandler I'm looking at these pictures, looks exactly like Ray. Like, it's
I know.
crazy.
Exactly.
Like, and poor, Cherica's mom had to look at, I'm sure she sees a lot of her daughter, Cherica, in Chandler as well, but it's just insane. Chancellor. I'm sorry, Chancellor. Yeah, so, but yeah, I didn't know that story. I didn't know it at all.
Oh yeah, I remember that. I actually, as I was researching it, I was like, oh man, I remembered a lot of it.
Yeah.
I knew the whole car thing. I remember that. Like,
yeah.
It was like, I didn't remember the guys' names, but then when I remembered, oh yeah, that guy the killer was like a scary dude.
Mm-hmm.
So what else? Yo, guys, make sure you subscribe.
Yes, please. Thank you. Subscribe, please.
And like the video and comment. And please let us know what mistakes we made or what we didn't pronounce correctly.
Yeah, I'm really bad at pronouncing things in general. Before I do anything, I always do a YouTube how to pronounce blah, 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 whatever the name is. And I actually learned that at one of my old jobs because I had to call veterinarian offices a lot and doctors. And a lot of doctors' names in general, first and last names are difficult to be like, some of them are difficult. So I always do that, but I still get things wrong. So,
in grade school, I had to read, in church, I had to read all the names of the people that passed away. It was like I don't fucking know what it was. It was like our, I don't know. What the fuck you didn't go to Catholic school, did you?
I did. I went to Catholic school my whole life.
What's in 8th grade?
Well, are you talking about like the sacraments?
Yeah.
So usually it would be
6th grade is confirmation. Is there anything after that? No,
confirmation is the last
well,
thing.
then it must have just
No. Oh no, I was thinking communion. Communion, confirmation is the last one. Yeah.
Baptism, communion, confirmation.
Yeah.
Well, there's something we had to do in 8th grade where it was a big church mass.
Mm-hmm.
Might have been Lent. I don't really know. I don't even care.
Yeah.
But we all had like duties.
Yep.
And I was one of the readers, and there was like 6 readers, and I had to read. You know how they're like, and let's pray, and they say all the parishioners like
Yeah, like the
dead.
prayer chain thing.
Yeah, they're like, it's like those person's parents, that person's
Mhm.
daughter, and they say all the people that passed away. I had to say all their names, and I was like so nervous that I was going to say the names wrong.
Yes.
And I said all the names, and then when I got done, my friends were like, "Are you okay?" And I was like, "Yeah." And they were like, like they all thought I was so nervous the way I was saying because I didn't want to mess the names up that they thought I was like
Sad
choking up
over
about someone that had
all.
passed away in my family.
Yeah.
And at that point, I think only my grandfather passed away,
Yeah.
and my grandmother. Names can be difficult,
Yes, they can.
and people get upset when you mispronounce them.
Oh man.
All right. Well, thanks for joining us for this live.
Thank you.
And yeah,
We'll have more to come,
join us for the next one.
which might be later on tonight or another day. Who knows? We don't know. We don't know what's going to happen next. We never do. That's why our podcast's second name is Coke Stories.
Rocks. That's why rocks too.
Rocks.
That's why our podcast rocks. And then I put Coke Stories rock. Coke rocks.
Coke rocks.
Crack rocks.
Crack rocks.
Coke rocks. I like that.
Coke rocks. All right.
Yeah, did you hear the new episode on Coke rocks? Coke rocks.
We should have just named it Coke Stories. How hilarious would that have been?
And then we tell stories of murders from 1972.
For those who don't know, the reason we call it Coke Stories is because we trail off on tangents so much, as if we were sitting there and all of you druggies out there, or anybody who had gone to college or was any time a teen or early 20-year-old who has done cocaine.
Everybody.
That's what I'm saying. Everybody. Majority of people.
Except for 11-year-olds and down. Or
Well, yeah.
12-year-olds.
If you're old enough to do cocaine, you know what Coke Stories are.
Didn't Drew Barrymore do cocaine at like 8 years old?
Yeah, people do cocaine all different times of their life, man.
Is that true?
I'm not Drew Barrymore. I'm not sure.
No, is that true what you just said?
People do drugs many different times
Yeah.
in their life.
Is that true?
yes.
All right. Another fact on Coke Stories. People do cocaine at all times of their life.
All times of
Yeah.
their life.
I'm 11. 32
Let
now.
me get that. Let me get that.
Just going through phases. Every
Yeah.
12 years. 12 years of Coke.
Oh my goodness.
Instead of 12 years a slave. 12 years of
Coke.
12 years of rock. 12 years of Coke.
12 years of Coke.
That'd be a good movie.
Just 12 years of somebody
They're all
doing cocaine.
fucked up and gambling and spending all their money, and then they get clean. And then you see how everything progresses and gets better for 12 years. And then on the 12th year, they go back.
They go back.
And Siskel and Ebert are like, it's one roller coaster ride. I think Siskel's dead, actually.
Oh man. So comment if anybody knows what were our questions in the beginning, how Brian Laundrie actually died. Who was Alex Baldwin pointing at?
Alex Baldwin.
Alec. Alex. See,
Or
back
what
to the names. Can't pronounce names.
What happened? How did that go down?
Also, who killed the Murdochs? Mother and son.
Yeah.
And were those all of our questions?
Mhm.
All right, that's it.
It's like
Let
the
us
three big
know.
stories.
It's the three biggest
We don't know
stories.
What if they all have answers and we just don't know?
We just don't know because we haven't been Googling it. Well, we want to know. So please let us know.
Oh boy.
All right, what's our new sign off? Say bye, Becky.
No, we're done with that.
Oh, we are. Sorry, Becky. You're out. Maybe when you're a doctor, you can come back and maybe we'll have you as a guest.
No.
All right. Well, then
That's
Coke
another
Stories out. That's our new sign off.
That's another episode of GBM. He
AKA
doesn't like it.
Coke Stories. I don't like what?
I don't know. I just knew you didn't like it.
That's another episode of GBM. And then I say Coke Stories. And that's how we end it now.
Thanks for watching GBM.
Coke Stories. But now one of us has to stand up and stop it.
I know, because I can't edit it.
Peace, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.